Shalom, all praise to YAHAWASHI, double honor to the Apostle GMS. This is Allah coming at you in the video. In this video, I'm going to focus on the book of 2 Corinthians. The point is chapter 4, verse 8 to 10. Just going into the various hardships that the Apostle Paul faced and the hardships that we're also going to face in this truth. You know what I mean? The hardships that we're also going to face in this truth. And how the hardships that YAHAWASHI faced, that we face, are likened to the hardships that YAHAWASHI faced. So let's get right to it. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 8. We are troubled on every side. We troubled on every side, yet not distressed. So everywhere we go, there's some kind of trouble. There's some kind of mischief. There's always a new obstacle, a new temptation. We are perplexed. We're in these difficult situations, but yet we're not in despair. So we're troubled on every side, but we're not distressed. Because why? YAHAWASHI got our backs. We're perplexed, but we're not in despair. Why? Because we believe in YAHAWASHI, and we believe that the hardships that we face will be delivered out of it. Because the Most High, YAHAWASHI, is not going to give us anything that we cannot bear. Persecuted, but not forsaken. We've been persecuted. We've caught hell in this thing. Brothers and lost jobs, lost women, families. Been through all kind of stuff, got sick, but we're not forsaken. Because why? YAHAWASHI is there. We've been casted down. We've fallen. Scripture tell you what? A righteous man falleth 7 times, right? So you fall, but you get back up. We've fallen a lot. But not destroyed. We're still here fighting this battle. Fighting the good fight of faith, right? Through the spirit of YAHAWASHI, of course. Verse 10, always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord YAHAWASHI. So we're always bearing about in our body the dying of the Lord YAHAWASHI. What does that mean? Always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord YAHAWASHI. So no matter where we go, no matter what it is that we do, we're always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord YAHAWASHI. In other words, all the hell that we caught, right? We are bearing about the body of YAHAWASHI through our sufferings. We are bearing about the body of YAHAWASHI through our sufferings. Right? Continuing on, it says that the life also of YAHAWASHI might be made manifest in our body. So we're always bearing about the body of YAHAWASHI through our sufferings. Therefore, YAHAWASHI is being manifested in us, because why? We suffer like He suffered. So through our afflictions, we identify with YAHAWASHI. We identify YAHAWASHI with the hell that we caught. And that's YAHAWASHI being manifested through our weakness. That's in the scriptures. We get that. Alright, this is 2 Corinthians 12 and 9. I'm going to start from verse 7. 2 Corinthians 12 and 7. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations. So the Apostle Paul was getting a lot of revelations. He was getting a lot of things shown unto him, revealed unto him by YAHAWASHI. But he would have been exalted above measure. People would have exalted him. He would have been even gotten big-headed, because he would have been receiving so many revelations. So what happened? There was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. Let's go to that word thorn. Let's go to that word buffet.
Strong's G 4647. Scallops.
Scallops. A pointed piece of wood, a pale, a stake, a sharp stake splinter. It says, just read a little bit. It says, of the apostle's thorn in the flesh, his language indicates that it was physical, painful, humiliating. Doesn't give us exactly what it was. Okay. I'm typing the word thorn in the side. I typed in thorn on my side, right? This is AI overview. Means a person or thing that is a continuous source of irritation, annoyance, or trouble. It's a metaphor for something that causes ongoing problems or stress, like a bad neighbor, a difficult colleague, or persistent issue like financial problems. It could be something. It's like a sickness. Now right here it says origin. The phrase comes from the Bible, specifically the New Testament book of Corinthians, where the Apostle Paul describes thorn in the flesh that was given to him to keep him humble. While its exact meaning in that context is debated, it has evolved into the modern idiom or saying used to describe any ongoing source of annoyance or difficulty. So we don't know what it was, but we know the Apostle Paul went through it continually. It was something that was frequent. And it's Buffett. Get the word Buffett.
Strong's G 2852. Calafizo.
Calafizo. To strike with the fist, give one a blow with the fist, to maltreat, treat with violence and contumely. So Satan was sent to strike with the fist or give a blow with the fist, to maltreat him, to treat him harshly. So whatever it was, Satan was messing with him, to treat with violence and contumely. Get the word contumely. Contumely means insolent, abusive, or rude language or behavior, often compounded with contempt or scorn. And it's an old-fashioned term for insults, humiliation, and disdainful treatment. So we don't know what it was, but whatever it was, Paul was going through it. We know that much. And back in chapter 12, verse 7, 2 Corinthians, unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations that was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. So it was meant to keep him humble, lest he be exalted above measure. You know what I'm saying? He would have got big-headed. So the more so did it to keep him humble. So the Most High does things like that. He'll give you a lot of knowledge, but it also does something to keep you humble at the same time. For this thing I besought the Lord three times. He prayed 3 times, that it might depart from him, that it will leave him. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee. What does that mean, my grace is sufficient for thee? He told the Apostle Paul, I'm not going to get rid of this thing you're going through, but I'm going to give you the strength for you to be able to bear it. Remember, he's not going to give you anything that you can't bear. I'm not going to get rid of this, but what I am going to do is I'm going to help you be able to fight it. I'm going to give you the strength to endure it. But my strength is made perfect in weakness. So the Most High's strength is made perfect in weakness, meaning what? When we're in a weakened state, understanding our own limitations as men, and to understand our own boundaries, understand our own limits, it causes us to rest and trust in the power of YAHAWASHI over our own selves. Because as men, we understand we got limitations. As men, we understand we have limitations. We understand we have boundaries. We understand there's only but so much we are capable of. And in that weakness, what does that do? That draws us closer to YAHAWASHI. So his strength is made perfect in weakness, because in understanding our own limitations, we trust in YAHAWASHI to be our strength when we are in that position of weakness. So that built the Apostle Paul's faith up. See that? Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of YAHAWASHI may rest upon me. So he gloried in his weakness, showing that the power of the Most High is perfected in him. The Most High's strength is perfect through weakness. Okay? Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities and reproaches and necessities and persecutions and distresses for YAHAWASHI's sake. So the Apostle Paul took pleasure in those things. He all knew it was for the sake of YAHAWASHI. He wasn't being buffeted for his wrongs. Remember the scripture say that? You don't be buffeted for your wrongs? That the power of YAHAWASHI may, I read that. In persecutions and distresses for YAHAWASHI's sake, for when I am weak, then am I strong. Okay? So when he's in that state of weakness, then he's strong through the Spirit. 1 Peter 2:24. What glory is it if when you be buffeted for your faults, you shall take it patiently? But when you do well and suffer for it, you take it patiently. This is acceptable with the Most High. So you don't want to be punished for your faults. There's no glory in that. You know, you don't want to be buffeted or go through hardships for your faults. Rather, when you're doing well and you're suffering for it, like doing the work of YAHAWASHI, you take it patiently. That's acceptable with YAHAWASHI. For even hereunto were you called. We were called into that. Why? Because YAHAWASHI also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow his steps. So YAHAWASHI suffered for us, leaving us an example that we should follow in his steps, meaning what we was going to suffer too. There's more I could read in 2 Corinthians, but I'm going to stop there. Galatians 6:17. From henceforth let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the Lord YAHAWASHI. So he bared in his body the marks of the Lord YAHAWASHI. So the Apostle Paul had marks in his body for all of the hell that he caught, for the sake of YAHAWASHI, for the sake of doing his work. Okay? 1 Corinthians 15:31. I protest by your rejoicing which I have and Yahawashi, Lord, I die daily. So he died daily, he caught hell all the time. If after the manner of men have I fought with beasts at Ephesus. So he fought these beasts in Ephesus, men that were like beasts. What advantage it me if the dead rise not? Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we die. That goes into something else, but that's part of the point. By he fought wild beasts at Ephesus. This is what I meant to get. 2 Corinthians 11:23. Are they ministers of Yahawashi? I speak as a fool. I am more, and labors more abundant. I did more labors than them. I did more work than them. And stripes above measure. I caught more hell than them. In prison more often. I was locked up a lot. And arrested a lot. In deaths often. Faced death a lot of times. He was actually stoned to death. Okay? Of the Jews 5 times received I 40 stripes save one. Thrice was I beaten with rods. Once was I stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. A night and a day I have been in the deep. In journeyings often. In perils of waters. In perils of robbers. In perils by my own countrymen. In perils by the heathen. In perils, so see, by other Israelites and by the heathen. In perils in the city. In perils in the wilderness. No matter where he went. In perils in the sea. In perils among false brethren. In weariness and painfulness, in watchings often, in hunger and thirst, in fastings often, in cold and nakedness, beside those things that are without, that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all churches. So he had to deal with a lot of hell. He got a lot of hell, man. I can get into a little more, but that's the point. I hope you ever learned something. And with that, I'm gonna close and say, oh praise the YAHAWASHI, double on to the positive mess. I hope you better learn something. Shalom.